Phoenixville, Pennsylvania, my hometown. This former industrial town has risen from the ashes, much like its mythical namesake, and has entered into a period of renaissance. Centered at the confluence of French Creek and Schuylkill River, Phoenixville was the transportation corridor to the west. The Phoenix Iron and Steel Company helped build a community where people could work, raise families, and find stability. But then, something happened.
I remember vividly walking into the building, shaking my head saying, what am I getting involved in?
They were holding it together with spit and bubble gum, as they say. Do you remember what it was like even 6 years ago?
Bob Tomaso works for the Phoenixville Foundry Building. He recalls the period of stagnation that struck Phoenixville in the 1980s when the town's principal industry had dried up.
The importance of the Iron and Steel Company to Phoenixville was everything. I mean, this was a town that people grew up, worked at, lived their lives around the Phoenix Iron and Steel Corporation.
The mighty Phoenix lay dormant for 20 years. And then, enough was enough. Phoenixville was primed and ready for its rebirth. Mary Foote is the executive director of the Colonial Theater in downtown Phoenixville. She thinks the Blob is what held this town together.
The Blob actually ended up to be quite a hit, and people made a lot of money on it. Right from the beginning, it was enjoyed by a lot of people. So we hear great stories about people's grandmothers or grandfathers were in the movie.
That's right, movie buffs. The Colonial was in fact featured in the cult classic. The Colonial Theater was built in 1903 as a vaudeville house. Everyone from Mary Pickford to Harry Houdini performed at the Colonial. Phoenixville was always hopping, and with the success of the Blob in 1958, the Colonial Theater became an iconic addition to Phoenixville.
The 50s was a big time in Phoenixville. Everybody who was alive then will tell you that you came downtown and everybody was downtown to be seen. And then you hit the 70s and I think people forgot about downtowns. You know, they were going to malls and to other places.
The Colonial was lost for a time but not forgotten. It's a part of what sparked the rebirth of this town. Bob thinks the Foundry has also played a part in the revitalization process.
This building stood as an iconic structure for what the history of this town was all about. And actually it was the impetus for what the town is becoming.
In December 2006, Bob signed on to a project to refurbish the abandoned building. The Foundry has been transformed into a visitor center and also serves as a reception space for weddings and banquets.
I believe truly that Phoenixville is only on the cusp. It's in its infancy. As much has been done in the last 5 years, there's so much more that can be developed.
The decaying of Phoenixville is no longer. Residents would agree as more and more proudly come forth to call this place home.
My first name is Daniel and I've been here since 1964. I was stationed at Valley Forge Army Hospital. Met a girl from Phoenixville and married her, and then remained in the Army until 91. So I had an off and on experience of being here throughout a good majority of the previous history of the town. And always enjoyed it. It was always a pleasant place to live. 2 of my children were born here. The other 2 were born overseas, but we've had a lot of connection here. So
Phoenixville knows it's charming and continues to find unique and exciting ways to draw traffic in and keep people coming back for more. Take Blobfest, for example. You know that scene where the Blob chases all the moviegoers out of the theater? Imagine reenacting that chaos.
So we get 400 people in the auditorium on a Friday night. And there's a stage show and a lot of antics, a lot of contests. And then at some point there's a queue and everybody in the auditorium runs out on the street. And we've done that for 11 years now, so another 1,000 people wait outside to watch because they just want to see the scene from the outside.
The revitalization of Phoenixville is coming from a lot of different directions. A lot of great restaurants and bars that have opened, like Molly Maguire's right on the corner here, Bridge and Main. A lot of cool little shops. Wolfgang Books is right down the street, highly thought of. So there's a lot of cool things to see in town, and people need to look at all different aspects of the redevelopment.
And there's one place in particular that seems to be a fan favorite.
If I went to eat downtown, I would probably go to Molly Maguire's.
I like going to Molly's, and Molly's has in fact opened up a little shop right next to it called the Phoenix, which is a martini bar, and I enjoy an occasional martini, so that's probably one of my favorite spots. But there are a lot of great restaurants in town.
Phoenixville has come a long way. No longer stagnant, it'll be interesting to see what the future has in store for this booming little metropolis.